All right, tell me if this one sounds familiar. My dog is constantly itching. Maybe they're licking their paws every day, scratching at their ears, rubbing their face on the carpet, or chewing at their skin. Maybe they're constantly getting ear infections and you feel like you're treating the same problem over and over and over. Maybe it seems like the problem gets worse during certain times of the year, like maybe the spring or the fall. Maybe you've tried different shampoos, supplements, diets, or medications, but your dog still seems uncomfortable. If so, you're not alone. One of the most common things that I hear from frustrated owners is I feel like I've tried everything and my dog is still itchy. Environmental allergies are one of the most common reasons that dogs develop chronic itching and skin problems. But they can also be one of the most frustrating things for owners to understand. Because unlike some problems where we can simply remove the cause, environmental allergies often involve things that are all around us, like pollens and grasses, molds and dust mites. Today, we're going to talk about what environmental allergies are, why they happen, how veterinarians diagnose them, and what treatment options can help keep your dog more comfortable. I'm Dr. Matt Clark with Class and View Veterinary Clinic, and I'm here to help. This is Beyond the Vet Visit.
Before we get started, I want to remind you that this video is intended for educational purposes only. Every pet is different, and the information discussed here should not be considered a diagnosis or a substitute for professional veterinary care. If your pet is experiencing severe itching, painful or infected skin, recurrent ear infections, significant hair loss, facial swelling, difficulty breathing, or any other symptoms, please contact your veterinarian for advice specific to your pets. The goal of this channel is to help you better understand veterinary medicine so you can have more informed conversations with your veterinarian and feel more confident caring for your pet. In a previous episode, we talked about the basics of allergies in dogs and cats, including the three major types of allergies we commonly see in veterinary medicine. Those include flea allergies, food allergies, and environmental allergies. Today, we're going to take a much closer look at environmental allergies because they're one of the most common and frustrating causes of chronic itching and skin problems in dogs. So, what exactly are environmental allergies? Environmental allergies occur when a dog's immune system overreacts to things in their surroundings that would normally be harmless. Common examples include pollen from trees, grasses, weeds, as well as mold spores and dust mites. The challenging part about environmental allergies is that these triggers are everywhere. We can't realistically remove all pollen from the air, eliminate every blade of grass from our dog's environment, or completely avoid dust and mold. That means environmental allergies are not something we can simply fix by removing the cause. Instead, treatment is focused on controlling the immune system's response, protecting the skin, preventing infections, and keeping pets comfortable. One of the reasons environmental allergies can be so confusing is they don't look like people allergies. When many people think about our allergies, we picture sneezing, watery eyes, or runny nose. While dogs can occasionally have those types of signs, most dogs with environmental allergies show their symptoms through their skin. They may lick their paws, chew their feet, scratch their ears, rub their face, develop ear infections, or have areas of red irritated skin, or maybe even hot spots. Some dogs may only show signs during certain times of the year, while others can struggle with symptoms all year long. And for many owners, the most frustrating part is that symptoms can come and go. Your dog might improve for a while, only for the itching to return later. Throughout this episode, we're going to talk about why environmental allergies happen, what signs to watch for, how veterinarians diagnose them, and the different ways we can help manage them. So now that we understand the basics of environmental allergies, let's talk a little bit more about what's actually happening inside your dog's body. An environmental allergy occurs when your dog's immune system reacts too strongly to something in the environment. The immune system is designed to protect the body. It helps recognize things that cause harm, like bacteria, viruses, and other threats. But in dogs with environmental allergies, the immune system becomes overly sensitive. It starts to react to things that are normally harmless, like pollen, grass, mold, and dust mites. A simple way to think about it is to imagine your dog's immune system has a security alarm. A properly working alarm goes off when there's a real problem, like somebody trying to break into your home. But an overly sensitive alarm might go off when something harmless happens, like a leaf blowing past the window. The alarm's doing its job, it's just reacting when it's not needed. That is essentially what's happening in environmental allergies. Your dog's immune system sees a harmless substance and responds as if it's a threat. This immune response creates inflammation, and that inflammation is what leads to many of the signs that owners notice, such as itching, redness, and irritation. In veterinary medicine, environmental allergies are often called atopy or atopic dermatitis. These terms describe a tendency for a pet's immune system to develop allergic reactions to things in the environment. But the important thing to understand is this: the problem is not that pollen, grass, or dust are dangerous. The problem is that your dog's body is reacting to them different than most dogs would. Some dogs may only react during certain times of the year. For example, a dog may become itchy every spring when pollen levels increase, or during certain times of the year where specific plants are growing. Other dogs may develop reactions to multiple allergens and have symptoms throughout the year. This can happen because many dogs are not reacting to just one thing. They may be sensitive to a combination of different environmental triggers, which can make the problem more difficult to identify. Another important piece of environmental allergies is that genetics often play a role. Some dogs are simply more prone to developing allergic skin disease because of how their immune system and skin barrier function. So, when we talk about environmental allergies, we're not talking about a dog doing something wrong or an owner failing to prevent a problem. We're talking about an individual dog's immune system responding differently to the world around them. And is important. Understanding that difference is important because it explains why environmental allergies are usually something we manage over time rather than with just simply eliminating them. Now that we understand what environmental allergies are, let's talk about why they cause so much itching and discomfort. For many owners, the most confusing part about allergies is that the thing causing the problem is not often the actual scratching. The scratching is a result of what is happening underneath the surface. When an allergic dog is exposed to something they're sensitive to, their immune system responds by releasing inflammatory signals. If you've ever heard of histamines, this is one of the first signals released by the body that contributes to making your dog itch. These signals tell the body that something is wrong and trigger a response designed to protect the body. Unfortunately, in allergic dogs, this response is happening when it doesn't need to. That inflammation creates the uncomfortable sensations that lead to itching, licking, chewing, and scratching. A helpful way to think about this is to imagine a sunburn. When your skin gets sunburned, it becomes red, irritated, and sensitive. Even something simple like your shirt rubbing against your skin can become uncomfortable. The same thing can happen with allergic skin. The skin becomes inflamed and irritated, so normal sensations can become very uncomfortable. This is why dogs with environmental allergies may constantly lick their paws, chew their feet, scratch their ears, or rub their face. But the problem doesn't stop there. The skin is not just a covering for the body, it's also a protective barrier. You can think of the skin like a wall that helps keep the outside world out and protects what's underneath. When allergies cause chronic inflammation, that protective barrier can become damaged. Once the skin barrier is weakened, bacteria and yeast normally living on the skin can start to overgrow. This can lead to secondary infections. These infections can make the itching even worse, creating a frustrating cycle of allergy, inflammation, damaged skin barrier, bacteria or yeast overgrowth, and then more itching, which just gets it back to where it was. This cycle is one of the reasons environmental allergies can be so frustrating for both pets and for their owners. It's also why managing environmental allergies often involves more than simply treating the signs that we see on the outside. Your veterinarian may need to address multiple parts of the problem, including the underlying allergy, inflammation, health of the skin, and any secondary infections that might develop. This is why treating environmental allergies often requires a long term approach. The goal is not just to stop the scratching today. The goal is to reduce inflammation, support the skin barrier, prevent infections, and help your pet stay comfortable over time. Now that we understand what is happening inside the body, let's talk about what environmental allergies actually look like in our pets. When many of us think about allergies, we think about the sneezing, runny nose, or watery eyes that we get. While those signs can happen in pets, dogs are more commonly showing their allergies through their skin and their ears. The most common sign of environmental allergies in dogs is itching. This might include licking paws, chewing feet, scratching, rubbing their face, shaking their head, or scratching at their ears. Many owners describe their dog as just being constantly itchy or say that their dog just can't seem to get comfortable. Some dogs might also develop redness or irritation of the skin, especially in areas like the paws, the belly, armpits, groin, and around the face. Another common sign of environmental allergies is recurring ear problems. The ear canal is lined with skin, just like the rest of the body. So when a dog has allergies affecting their skin, the same inflammation can affect their ears as well. This can lead to some signs such as head shaking, scratching at the ears, odor, redness or irritation inside the ears, or recurrent ear infections. This is one reason that veterinarians often ask about ear problems when evaluating a dog for itching. Some dogs may also develop changes to their coat or skin over time. This can include things like hair loss, thickened skin, darker pigmentation, scabs or crusts, or maybe even a greasy or unpleasant odor to the skin. These changes are often the result of ongoing inflammation, repeated scratching, and secondary infections. Another important thing to understand is that environmental allergies do not always look the same in every dog. Some dogs might have seasonal flare ups, where signs are worse during certain times of the year. For example, a dog might become itchy every spring when the pollen levels increase. Other dogs might have symptoms throughout the entire year because they're reacting to multiple environmental triggers, such as dust mites or mold. The pattern of symptoms can give your veterinarian important clues, but understanding the cause often requires looking at the entire picture, including your pet's history, exam findings, and response to treatment. Now that we understand what environmental allergies can look like, let's talk about how veterinarians actually figure out if allergies are the cause. A dog that's scratching, licking their paws, or getting ear infections may have environmental allergies, but there are many other conditions that can cause similar signs. This is why diagnosing allergies is often a process rather than just a single test. Your veterinarian will usually start by looking at the entire picture. This includes things like when the itching started, whether the problem is seasonal or all year round, which areas are affected, whether your dog has recurring ear infections or skin infections, what treatments have worked in the past, and whether your dog's receiving consistent parasite prevention. This history is extremely valuable because the pattern of your dog's symptoms can provide some important clues. For example, a dog that becomes itchy every spring and summer may have a different pattern than a dog that has year round itching. However, because many skin conditions can look similar, your veterinarian will also need to consider and rule out other possible causes. These might include flea allergies, other parasites, food allergies, bacterial or yeast infections, hormonal conditions like hypothyroidism or Cushing's disease, and other skin conditions. This is one reason that allergy diagnosis can sometimes feel frustrating for owners. There's usually not one quick test that can give us a simple answer. Instead, veterinarians often work through the possibilities step by step to understand what is most likely contributing to your dog's symptoms. Another important thing to understand is that allergies can change over time. As we discussed in our previous allergy episodes, some dogs can become sensitive to additional allergens as they get older. A dog that initially reacts to one or two environmental triggers may develop sensitivities to additional allergens later in life. This is one reason allergies can sometimes seem like they're getting worse over time. It also explains why allergy management and allergy testing can become more complicated. If we test a dog at one point in their life, that testing reflects where they're at right now. As new sensitivities develop, the allergy picture can change. Now, let's talk about allergy testing, because this is an area where there's a lot of misunderstanding. Many owners assume that a blood test can tell us exactly what their dog's allergic to. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. Blood allergy testing is generally not reliable for diagnosing environmental allergies and is especially unreliable for determining whether a food allergy is present. Dermal testing is reliable for environmental allergies, but not for food. A positive result doesn't always mean that an allergen is actually causing your dog's symptoms, and a negative result doesn't always mean that an allergen is not involved. The diagnosis of environmental allergies is usually based on your veterinarian recognizing the pattern of disease, ruling out other causes, and determining what treatments help control the symptoms. That being said, allergy testing can have a role in certain situations. For dogs with confirmed environmental allergies, testing might be used to help identify specific allergens that could be targeted with a treatment called immunotherapy. However, even in these situations, testing's not a perfect picture of every possible thing your dog may react to in their lifetime. But the important thing to remember is this. The purpose of allergy testing is usually not to discover whether your dog has allergies. The purpose is to help guide treatment after your veterinarian has already determined that environmental allergies are the likely cause of your dog's symptoms. Now that we understand what environmental allergies are and how they're diagnosed, let's talk about one of the biggest questions owners have. How do we actually treat them? The first thing I want owners to understand is that environmental allergies are usually a lifelong condition. In most cases, we simply can't remove the allergy forever or make the immune system completely forget how it reacts. Instead, the goal is management. We want to reduce the itching, control inflammation, protect the skin barrier, prevent secondary infections, and help your dog maintain a good quality of life. The good news is that we have more options for managing environmental allergies today than ever before. And the best treatment plan is often not just one thing. Many dogs do best with a combination of approaches that address different parts of the problem. Let's talk about the different approaches. The first approach is trying to reduce your dog's exposure to things that trigger their allergies. This sounds simple, but it can be challenging. Environmental allergies are everywhere. Pollen, grass, mold, dust mites are all difficult and often impossible to completely avoid. However, there are some practical steps that might help you reduce some exposure. These could include things like wiping your dog's paws after being outside, bathing your dog appropriately to remove allergens from the skin, keeping bedding clean, and managing indoor allergens whenever possible. The goal is not to create a completely allergen free environment, because that's really unrealistic. The goal is to reduce the amount of exposure and support the other treatments that are being used. The skin plays an important role in protecting the body. Remember, we talked earlier about the skin acting like a wall. In allergic dogs, that wall becomes damaged, allowing allergies and microorganisms to interact with the body more easily. Supporting the skin barrier is an important part of long term allergy management. This might include medicated shampoos, topical sprays or mousses, veterinary skin support supplements, omega fatty acid supplementation, and others. These treatments can be helpful for improving skin health and reducing irritation. However, it's important to understand that these products generally will not control environmental allergies on their own. For many dogs with moderate to severe allergies, additional treatments are often needed to control the underlying inflammation and itching. Think of these therapies as supporting the overall allergy plan rather than replacing treatments that target the allergic response itself. Because allergies can damage the skin barrier, allergic dogs are more prone to developing bacterial or yeast overgrowth. When these infections occur, they can significantly increase discomfort and itching. Your veterinarian may recommend treatments directed at these infections, such as antibiotics for bacterial infections, antifungals, ear medicines for allergic ear disease or ear infections, and veterinary topical products. Other treatments based on what is found during exam might also be needed. It's important to remember that treating an infection doesn't address the underlying allergy. However, controlling infections is an important part of helping an allergic dog feel more comfortable. This is why successful allergy management often requires looking at the whole picture. We need to address both the problems caused by the allergies and the allergies itself. For many dogs with environmental allergies, medications that target itching and inflammation are an important part of the treatment. To understand why these medicines help, let's briefly talk about what happens during an allergic reaction. When an allergic dog is exposed to something they're sensitive to, the immune system releases different signals that create inflammation. One of these signals is histamine, which many people are familiar with because it contributes to itching and other allergy symptoms. However, histamine is only one part of a much larger process. Other inflammatory signals also contribute to itching, redness, and irritation. This is why different allergy medicines work in different ways. Some treatments target specific itch signals, some reduce inflammation more broadly. Some help calm the immune system that's driving the allergy. Examples of treatments that might be used to manage environmental allergies are antihistamines, interleukin 31 antibody injections that target specific itch pathways, JAK inhibitors that can block certain inflammatory signals involved in itching, steroids that can reduce inflammation and immune activity, things like cyclosporin or other prescription medicines or therapies, depending on the individual pet. The goal is not to completely shut down the immune system. The goal is to reduce the overactive response that's causing discomfort while allowing the immune system to continue functioning normally. Your veterinarian will consider many factors when choosing a treatment plan, including your dog's age, other health conditions, how severe the allergies are, how often symptoms occur, and what has worked or not worked in the past. There is no single medicine that is perfect for every dog, which is why treatment plans are individualized. Some dogs may need medications only during certain seasons. Others might require year round management. The right approach depends on the individual pet. Another option that might be considered for some dogs with environmental allergies is immunotherapy. Unlike medications that mainly control the symptoms, immunotherapy attempts to gradually change how the immune system responds to specific allergens. This is done by exposing the immune system to controlled amounts of allergens identified through allergy testing. However, immunotherapy is not appropriate or necessary for every allergic dog. It can take significant time to determine whether it's helping, And because allergies can change over time, the allergens identified at one point may not represent every future trigger. For some carefully selected patients, immunotherapy might be a useful part of long term allergy management. However, many allergic dogs are successfully managed with other treatment approaches based on their individual needs. The most important thing to understand is that environmental allergy treatment is rarely about finding one perfect solution. Instead, successful management often comes from combining different strategies because every dog responds differently. Some dogs may need only a few adjustments, others may require a more comprehensive long term plan. The goal is not necessarily to eliminate every sign of allergies forever. The goal is to help your dog feel comfortable, reduce flare ups, prevent complications, and maintain a good quality of life. Your veterinarian can help determine which combination of treatments makes the most sense for your individual pet. Now that we understand what environmental allergies are, how they're diagnosed, and how they're treated, let's talk about some common misconceptions. My dog's itchy, so they definitely have allergies. Itching is one of the most common signs we see with environmental allergies. However, itching by itself does not tell us the cause. Many different problems can look very similar, including parasites, skin infections, hormonal conditions such as hypothyroid or Cushing's disease, and other skin disorders. This is why veterinarians do not diagnose environmental allergies based on itching alone. The goal is to look at the entire picture: your dog's history, physical exam findings, the pattern of symptoms, and how your dog responds to treatment. Remember, itching is a symptom, not a diagnosis. My dog's allergies must be caused by food. Food allergies are real, but they're much less common than many owners think. One of the reasons this misconception exists is because food seems like an easy thing to change. Many owners think, my dog's itchy, so I should try a different food. The problem is that switching between different over the counter diets usually does not tell us whether food is actually the cause. Properly evaluating a food allergy requires a very strict diet trial under the guidance of your veterinarian. Another important clue is the pattern of symptoms. Food allergies are generally year round problems. If your dog's itching comes and goes with the seasons, improves during certain times of the year, or flares when pollen levels increase, environmental allergies are often more likely. That doesn't mean food allergies can't happen. It means that the pattern of your dog's symptoms matter. Understanding when the problems occur can give you your veterinarian important clues about what might be contributing. A shampoo or supplement will fix my dog's allergies. Skincare products and supplements can absolutely be helpful parts of an allergy management plan. Medicated shampoos, topical therapies, skin support products can all help improve skin health and reduce irritation. However, environmental allergies involve an overactive immune response. Because of that, these products generally will not control moderate to severe allergies on their own. Allergy testing will tell me exactly what to do with my dog. Many owners hope that there is a simple test that can tell them exactly what their dog is allergic to. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. Allergy testing can have a role in certain situations, such as helping guide immunotherapy, but it is not usually how veterinarians determine whether a dog has environmental allergies. The diagnosis is based on looking at the entire picture, the pattern of symptoms, ruling out other causes, and determining what treatments help your individual pet. It's also important to remember that allergies can change over time. Some dogs can become sensitive to additional allergens as they get older, which means the allergy picture today may not be the same as the allergies in the future. Environmental allergies can be one of the most frustrating problems for both dogs and their owners. The itching, ear infections, skin problems, and repeated flare ups can be difficult to manage, especially when it feels like the problem keeps coming back. But understanding what is happening is the first step towards helping your dog feel better. Today, we talked about how environmental allergies occur when the immune system overreacts to things that are normally harmless. We discussed how these allergies often show up through the skin and the ears, causing signs like paw licking, scratching, ear infections, skin irritation, and discomfort. We also talked about why diagnosing environmental allergies can take time. There's not usually one simple test that gives us all the answers. Your veterinarian has to look at the entire picture, including your dog's history, exam findings, ruling out other causes, and how your dog responds to treatment. And when it comes to treatment, the goal is not always to completely eliminate the allergy. The goal is to manage the condition. This may involve reducing exposure when able, supporting the skin barrier, treating secondary infections, controlling itch and inflammation, and using other therapies when appropriate. Every dog's different. Some dogs may have mild seasonal signs that require minimal intervention, while others may need a more comprehensive long term management plan. If your dog's struggling with ongoing itching, ear problems, skin infections, or discomfort, talk with your own veterinarian. Your veterinarian can help determine what is causing your dog's symptoms and create a plan that's appropriate for your individual pet. I hope this episode helped you better understand environmental allergies and why they can be such a challenging condition to manage. If you found this video helpful, please consider liking the video and subscribing to our channel. And if there's a veterinary topic you would like me to cover in a future episode, leave it in the comments below. I'm Dr. Matt Clark. Thank you for joining me for Beyond the Vet Visit, and I'll see you next time.